Hello everyone. So the last time what we did was we were playing around with MongoDB. We installed the client version, desktop client, and we also saw some commands inside our command prompt. And this is where we were. We had created. Let's reload data here. We had created a database named as school, and we had created a collection inside it with the name teachers. So today what we'll be adding, we'll be learning how to we can delete the collection that we just created, and how we can add documents inside a collection that we already have. So in order to before that, what I want to do is I want to make this function a little uh, more like rigid, you can say. For example, if I run this code again, you will see that we will run into error. What does it say? Collection already exists. So I don't want it to throw errors. I want to handle that right inside my function. So what can we do? So first off, whenever we call this function with a collection name, we will check whether or not we have the current we have any collection with this name inside our DB. So how can we do that? Let's add some check if collection already exists. So let's make this green so that we can see it properly. So we'll check if we have this collection inside our DB already. So how can we do that? We have this function that is list collections with our DB, and inside this list connection, what we pass a filter document. So the filter document is basically an object. Inside that object, what we want to say is that name will be collection name. So what this function is going to do, it will look inside the inside this current DB, look for every collection with the name that has this name, and this returns a promise. So what we need to do is we can resolve it by having a function inside, or we can just give it a next function here. So inside our next function, what we want to have is this. It will have two things. One will be error and the other will be collection info. So here what we can do now is we can check if collection info is true, then we know that the collection already exists. So what we can do here is we can just copy these two lines and paste them here. We can say collection with the name this already exists, and let's cut these here and paste them here, and we'll close the connection. And otherwise, if it is not, what we can do then, if it is not present inside our DB, so we will just paste this here and save this. So if it is not, we will create a collection. If it is already inside it, we will just console log this. So now we will not run inside an error. So if we run this, we have an error. Why are we having an error? Collection name is not defined. Why is it not defined? Okay, so I misspelled it. Sorry, my bad. Let's run it again. So we are seeing collection with the name teachers already exists. So now if I call this again, let's call it with what can we have here? We can have subjects. If I run this, so we'll see collection created with the name subjects. But if I run this again, what will happen? We'll say that subjects already exist. So this is now more rigid. We'll not run into error with this function. So now let's go ahead and see how we can delete collections from our DB. So what I'll do is just copy this function, paste it here, and we will do the same thing. We'll have to connect with our client. We'll go inside the DB that we passed here. We'll see if the collection already exists. If it exists, what we want to do then is we will close, we'll delete delete our collection here, and we don't need this else anymore, I think. Or maybe we will need it. So how can we do that? How can we like delete the collection that we have passed? So there is this function with the DB that we have collection, and inside the collection parameters we have to pass what collection we want to delete, and we just pass the drop. So this will just drop this collection, but this also returns a promise, so we'll have to resolve it. And here we will say function with error, or we can say response, whatever the response is. If there is no error, but we'll not check the error, we'll just console.log. We'll say collection name, collection was deleted, and we'll just close our connection. And if we don't find any collection with this name, we also want to close our DB connection, and what we want to console log then is not here, and we will say does not exist in DB name. So we'll just say that this collection does not exist inside the DB, and we will also change the name delete collection. And if we go here, if I go here and say delete collection, and I'll just pass these three, and if I run this, we'll see subjects collection was deleted. So if we even go here, okay, so we didn't reload it. So we'll see that inside school we have subjects. Why do we have subjects? Did we do the drop function? I think this should be deleted. Let's refresh it one more time just to be sure. Okay, I reloaded it again. Should not do it. So inside we have this. Let's try with teachers. Teachers collection was deleted, and if I run this again, teachers collection of this. So something is wrong with our DB. Something is wrong with our collection. Okay, so we are checking if it exists. Okay, so I see the error. We did not close the DB connection inside our next function, so we have to put this inside this function here and do it like this. So if I save this now, I already deleted teachers. Let's say subjects, and run this. Subjects collection was deleted, and if I run this again, subjects does not exist in the DB. And if we see here, so we no longer see our database because we have already deleted both our collections. So if we create both the collections again, so we will see we have some error. Create collection teachers was the error. Create collection is not defined. No, it is not defined. This is defined. We save it. Let's rerun it. Okay, or maybe something with the saving. Okay, so we have created both the collections here. So now what we want to do is we want to add some stuff inside our collection. So let's now write two more functions for adding document. So whenever we want to add our any document inside our collection, what do we want? We want to have obviously these three things. We want to have the client to connect with, we have to have the DB name to connect with, we want to have collection name to connect with the collection we want to add document into, and then we want to have the document itself. So I will write this function so that we can have an array of objects inside this document, or we can just have simply one document, one object inside this document. So let's copy some stuff from here. It's also a nice practice to put this inside our try and catch. Let's do this. Let's do this practice here. So if we have any error while connecting to our database, we will have this error. We'll be catching this error, and we'll be like just console.log, and we will say error, and we will have the error printed inside it. So now inside this try, we will have whatever we want to do now. So what do we want to do? We want to connect to our client. That's something we will do, and then we will say, we will check the connection if this exists. So we will do stuff until here. So let's just remove everything inside this if and everything inside this. So we don't want to remove this, I think. So if the collection exists, what we want to do, we want to add whatever document that was passed to us from here, we want to add it to our collection. How can we do that? We have a function current db.collection. We will go inside our collection with like this, and then we will call the function insert1, and inside this we will pass our document that we need to pass. So this insert1 has also returning a promise. So what we want to do is we want to resolve it like this. If it is if it inserts properly, then what we can do is we can just like console log some stuff, like console log document inserted. Let's not print the value because it may be very large. Document inserted and successfully, and let's remove this DB name also. So we'll just say this. So if we cannot find the collection that we are passing, we'll just print this and close our DB. So we'll also need to close our DB connection after we have console logged like this. So that's that. I think that is pretty much it for this function. Let's add something to our teachers. For example, let's have a function teacher, an object name will be, we can say Codamy, and for some reason let's say here will be, let's say 2021. So we have this, and then what we can do is we can call our adding, that's weird, just say add document. I think that's much better. Let's call the add document method here. What do we want to pass? We want to pass our get client method, the teachers, the school, DB, the teachers collection, and then the teacher object. So now let's run our code. See, document inserted properly, successfully. Let's go inside our client. See, we now have our school back inside teachers, we have one name as teacher and the year as this. So we have one extra thing that is like this object ID, and I saw something that has some like in the initially it has some timestamp, and later it has the count of this, how many times it is inside the DB, and in the middle some random values. So this is the ID that is inserted automatically. If you do not insert this ID, it is inserted automatically. Otherwise, if you pass some ID with your function, this ID will be replaced. This ID will be replaced by the ID that you pass from here. So this is how we can add one document to our database. But what if we want to add multiple teachers at the same time? So for that, we have another method that is insert many, but we don't want to write another function just for that. What we can do is we can just check here if array dot is array, and we can check document. So if this document that we passed is an array, what we can say is call the many function, and we will say documents inserted successfully. And if it is not an array, we will call this function that was the single object function. So this way we can just insert, if we want to insert a single document, we can do that. If we want to insert multiple, we can do that too. Let's say const teachers, and we'll have an array of objects this time. Let's copy this and paste it here. Let's do this Codamy 1 just to be different. Codamy 2, 3, 4. Let's say 2, let's say 3, and let's say 4. Save it and pass the teachers this time here. So let's run it. So this time we see documents inserted. So we can see that this is now inside this. It ran the insert many function. And if we go inside here and we refresh, so we can see the Codamy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's how we can insert multiple things inside our collection. So the last thing that I want to discuss here is something related to deleting and deleting a document. So how can we do that? Let's copy and paste this function here, change the name, delete document, and for this function we'll have the same things here. We'll have a document. Let's call this a filter, because that's the correct, I think, naming convention that we should be using. That is filter. And if we go here, we will do the same thing inside our collection. If we find the collection, what we want to do then, let's remove this. No, let's remove it until here, and this will be the same thing. So if we find the collection, what we want to do then is we will say current db.collection. We will go inside our collection name, and we will just simply say delete many, and we'll pass our filter object that we had, and then resolve like this. So if it finds any document that is inside that fulfills the criteria of this filter, it will delete that document. So here what we can then say is console log document was successfully deleted, and we'll just remove all of this from here. And we will have to db close our connection. So we have changed the name, and let me tell you what the filter is. So let's copy this line, comment it out. So in our filter, what we do is we just delete filter, we just pass one parameter. For example, if I type here year 2021, so it will go inside this collection, inside this DB, and see if any document has this property named as year, and that is the value of this property field is equal to 2021, and just delete that. So in this case, all of them have the same all of them have this you can say field with the value of 2021. So it should delete all the documents inside our teachers collection. So let's call the delete document from this function. Let's say documents were, because there will be multiple, and run the function. So we see the documents were successfully deleted, and if we go to our DB and refresh, we don't see anything. So that's how we can delete all the documents. So this is how we can do a lot of stuff using, like, you can say the create the MongoDB, but this may be hectic. I think the easier, much better version of MongoDB, like maybe you can see the wrapper of MongoDB is Mongoose. So in that, using Mongoose is very easy, very intuitive, and we can do a lot more things with very little code with that. So maybe in the next video we'll see what Mongoose is capable of and how we can use Mongoose to insert data in our DB and delete stuff like that. So until then, goodbye.